Good morning, welcome to Planet Mojo. Today we're going to use some templates that we made a few weeks ago to cut the upper siding for the back of the original tiny house. But first, let me show you some of the accumulated mess from rushing to get that addition done. Got stuff everywhere. This is OSB from the siding of the addition. This is the stuff we're going to use today. This is... what is that? This is the shim stock that I just showed you up on the top part there. And we have all of the original barn panels. I've been saving those because I don't want to throw anything away just in case I need something to stand on out there out of the mud. This is from the trusses. This is from the framing of the addition, the back wall of the addition, and the trusses. We're going to be using that, but we just have stuff everywhere. You could see the top cut in that board. This was for that back wall, the underside of that back wall. Yeah, so many memories and a huge mess. This is from just 2 days ago. This was from the skylights. And back here, we have our templates, and I saved this because this has the exact angle of the top back there, and I may be able to use that while I'm piecing this stuff together to try to get my back pieces. All right, so first thing I got to do is just clear out an area right here that's big enough to work in, and then we'll start laying stuff down on the floor, and we'll try to get our pattern ready to cut. Yeah, this is going to take a while. All right, let me clean this up. Okay, yeah, because of the really sharp rake on this, I got to get this exactly right. And when I laid out these templates, I was thinking that there was a stud right down the center, and I laid it out accordingly. That's not the case. The studs are, well, the center part is open, and it's right in the middle of two studs. There's a full panel centered in the middle. So what I got to do, I got a feel-good dimension from the computer. It's 28 7/8 on each leg, and the point would be 16 inches up from the edge right here. If I draw a line across here and measure up right in the middle, it should be 16 inches. So what I'm going to do is mark this point right here, measure down 16 inches, and put a line across, and then both of these edges should hit that line. That'll get everything angled correctly. If the angle is off just a hair, we're going to have a really hard time getting this fitted. And the angle down here, that was just built, and I know the exact angle. So we'll get this angle figured out, get that little dot marked on there, mark all that stuff, put this stuff back on, and when it's where I think it should be, we'll mark all the stuff onto the wood and get it cut. Yeah, this is going to take a while. Once it's cut, I have to back bevel the bottom side and get this stuff painted, primed and painted. I have 2 days to do it, so it's not really a rush. It's going to rain for the next 2 days. And after that, I'm not exactly sure when I can get this on the back of the building, but the staging that's on there is going to stay there until I get this on. Another fail-safe that I have is this. I'm going to cut the top part off of this. Once I have that bottom part figured out and in place, I'll tape the two pieces together. I'm going to cut this off right here and then put this on the top and compare this to the angle on that. This was cut off the building and it has the correct angle for the top of that. Yeah, kind of complicated, and I really don't want to mess this up. So let's get that little dot in place, do some measuring and layout, and then put this back on and see what we have. Okay, I got my layout here. Let me show you something. It is 24 right to the edge of this, and that is from the edge of here, and then it's 24 to off the edge right here. It's kind of hard to explain, but it's a little bit difficult to lay stuff out on this stuff because it's 24 and 3/8 overall. The 3/8 is buried under here. So the end of the panel is actually right where the next panel starts on this side, and the end of the panel is right here on this side. But we got it pretty well figured out. So you got to kind of guess the actual point would be right inside the edge of this groove. But I got it as good as I can get it. Now we'll put this back on there and get it lined up as good as we can, tape it, and then check it against the old skin that we took off of there. Okay, I'll show you what we got here. If you look down and kind of hold this down, it is pretty much right on the line, and that point right there is about 1.5 inches from that little detail there. And it's the same on this side. It looks as though it's in exactly the right spot, and I'm going to go with this. I think I'm going to staple it down, and then all I'm going to do, I'm going to continue this line all the way down. I'm going to mark it where the cardboard is and then double check it with a straight edge against this edge. I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. I have my 8-foot straight edge over there. And then on this upper stuff, I'm just going to put some dashed lines where the cardboard is. And then I'm going to step in by about 3/8 of an inch. When I put this cardboard up there on the building, it was about 1/4 of an inch in from the 2x4s up there. We're going to have molding on that, so it's going to cover whatever's on these outside edges no matter what. But when I figured this out right here, I figured out the truss plus the roofing material, 5/8 of an inch, plus 1.5 inches. I put these on 1.5 inch blocks because this is going to be 1.5 inches off the roof. So now that there's shingles on there, there's shingles plus step flashing. So that's probably going to be 1/4 to 3/8 of an inch. I may even come in 1/2 inch from what we have here. Yeah, that's probably a better idea because those shingles are pretty thick. And if I don't come in that 1/2 inch, it's probably going to hit somewhere. Yeah, that's the plan. Staple this down. Get a little bit of lineage on here, and I think I'll show you that part. Let me go grab the stapler. We'll get this stapled down and get to tracing. I don't want this thing loaded up with staples, but I don't want it moving. So we'll just get some in some key locations. Yeah, this whole thing makes me a bit nervous because this T1-11 really is not that good of a siding material, and this is such an odd shape. But we wanted to keep the barn looking like the barn that we built 20 some odd years ago, and this was a much better way to do it than siding it with that stuff again. That stuff's thinner than this, but it worked for 20 some years. Hopefully this will work for more than that. Okay, let's get some tracing on here. Pull that off. Oh, first I'm going to cut the top off of that and we'll do a quick double check. Okay. So you can see there's a line on here. What we did was draw a line from one of the flying rafters to the next. And if you line up the line, and then it runs right to here, it looks like it matches up exact or pretty damn close to it. Yeah. I believe that's going to be it, but we'll have to see once we get this cut. This is one of those things that I've been dreading doing for months, ever since I came up with this idea. It would be so much easier if this had normal siding, but we wanted to keep the integrity of the old barn. We got a lot of memories in that, and didn't want to change it to like horizontal siding or something like that. Basically wanted to keep it the way it was, but a little more durable, which is what we did with this T1-11. But this doesn't lend itself to making a building watertight, and it's just really hard to work with. They developed this after World War II to accommodate the huge housing boom from all the returning veterans. And I believe my brother's house has this on it. They generally made ranch houses with this on it and had brick on the lower levels. And had brick wainscoting and T1-11 above that. Okay, this looks really good. Like I said, from here to that corner looks very similar to the other side. It's not going to be perfect because the panel is offset from the center to start with, the center of the panel is offset from the center of these. So it's going to be a smidge different, but it looks really good. Where it comes down to a point, looks pretty close on both sides. Yeah, I hope this works. So next thing to do is cut this out. I got to put a 10-degree back bevel on these bottom edges, and the top edges just get a 90-degree cut. And then I'll lightly sand all of the edges. They're going to be kind of splintery from cutting them. Lightly sand them, and then we're going to prime the back of this and waterproof the bottom edge. That's going to get a little bit of like snow and stuff going up under there. Not for long, and no different than any other building. We just want to make doubly sure that we don't get a rotten edge. That's why it's got the back bevel, so any water that hits this is going to drip off right into the step shingles and run right off the building. Okay, yeah, looking real good so far. Now we'll get these cut and we'll start the priming. This is going to be a difficult cut. The bevel needs to be that way, and in order to do that, I got to plunge this in. So what I'm thinking of doing is setting it to 0, plunging it in, then setting it to 10 degrees and plunging it again and making that second part of the cut. All right, now set it to 10. It's not super accurate. I just cut the end of this off with a jigsaw. So it would be a little bit easier to manage. Bada bing, bada boom. Okay, looks real good. Hopefully it fits. Now, this bottom edge with the 10-degree bevel on it, I'm going to paint that with Wood Restore, which is this stuff right here. This penetrates real deep into the wood and it hardens it up. And then tomorrow we're going to prime this and paint it. Paint it the same color as the rest of the tiny house there, that blue, or at least that part of the tiny house. The next part is going to be charcoal black. Paint it blue, and in a couple of days we're going to go out and put this on. Tomorrow I'm going to be doing a big cleanup in here. It's going to take the entire day. But I'm going to get this really nice in here now that I have this done. Well, actually, I can't throw away any of this stuff yet because I don't have this on. But as soon as I get this in place, I'm going to throw all these scraps away, except for some bigger ones like that that can be used like for a back of a cabinet or whatever. Good, good, good. This is the final piece of the puzzle in getting the tiny house dried in before winter. Once this is done, I can work on the inside and get that all finished up. It's not a huge amount to do in there. So we are nearly done with the tiny house for this year. So if you want to see this being put in place, that's going to be a pretty interesting video. Make sure you subscribe and click on the update icon. If you have any questions or comments, make sure you put them in the comment section below. And if you share the video and or give it a like, it helps the channel out greatly. Thanks for watching and have a great day.